ask you about that part about gathering data. Tell me a little bit about the importance of that and how you ensure, how do you go about doing that and ensure that happens as part of an evaluation that you conduct?
Right. It's a very important part of the evaluation for ADHD because ADHD by its nature is something that you will see more in a setting where there's a lot of stimulation. So in my office, when I'll see a child who's being evaluated for ADHD, very often they look kind of not attentionally challenged because they're just sitting with me, they're getting one-on-one attention, and it's not really an environment that's going to bring out the symptoms of ADHD. Similarly, there are other situations where kids will not, if they're watching television or they're into a video or something that they're really engaged with, you won't see that distractibility. It's more in a setting where there's a lot going on, like in a classroom where there are other kids, where they can look out the window, there are other stimuli, and it's hard for those kids with ADHD to regulate, to put out the stimuli that are really not relevant for the moment and focus on what is relevant. So it's those settings that you see the ADHD, and so it's important to get data, and there are checklists and that you give to teachers, usually give to like 2 or 3 teachers who know the child the best, and have them fill it out on several different days, so you don't just get one standout day that they didn't sleep the night before, which would contribute to their difficulty with attention. And so you want to get a good sampling. And then similarly with the parents, you want to get to see what the child's like at home over several different days. And then you bring it back into the office, take a look at it, and see if there is the consistency or just one particular day that they had a tough day, or whether it kind of is over a period of time.
Yeah. What's the parents' role in helping you gather that data?
Well, the parents are really, they're the central people, and they're kind of being in contact with the teachers and giving the teachers the forms and collecting them and talking to the teachers, and and often I'll talk to the teachers, but it's really the parents who are the most important in kind of being in communication with the teachers and hearing from the teachers, what is going on in the classroom, and as well as giving them these checklists and asking them to fill it out on the separate days and following the typical protocol.
What are the areas where parents need more guidance from you about how to go about doing that, getting that information for you?
I think parents sometimes they need some education about how you make the diagnosis, which is mostly a clinical diagnosis. In other words, it's a diagnosis of observation, though there is testing that's relevant too, and it's often very useful, but it's not necessary. It's helpful to elaborate, more in detail about the nature of the difficulties, organizational or executive functioning, but it's a clinical diagnosis in terms of observation. So having the parent be good observers about their own children and what happens, as well as being good reporters about what they hear from the teachers, and bringing back the relevant data.
Do you coach parents in terms of how to help them become better observers of their child's behavior?
Well, the parental part in both diagnosing, but even more so in terms of the treatment of ADHD, the parental part is really essential, and I think that's something that's somewhat neglected, these days, especially with so much of the medicating being done in a pediatrics in a medical office setting and not with a psychiatrist. But the studies are quite convincing that the best treatment for ADHD is a combination of medication and parent guidance and parent work about how to help the child develop skills to address their own challenges in terms of attention, in terms of organization, in terms of planning and problem solving, all the core aspects of ADHD. The parents are really important players in doing this, and so those two tracks, the medication track, as well as the parent guidance and parent helping the child. That's a really important part of the treatment.